3, 2, 1, clap. Let's go. Welcome to episode 6 of Kitze, or whatever it's going to be called in the future. Before we start, if you're trying to lose weight, no, I'm not going to sell you a supplement. No, I'm not going to sell you a course or a book. Just go for a walk right now. And anytime this podcast comes out, go for a walk. Again, I promise you, by the time there's episode probably 139, you're going to see a massive difference. You don't need to change your diet. You don't need to do fasting, all of the crazy shit that I'm trying to do. Just go for a walk right now. I know it's minus 10 today in my city, but just go out and you'll see the difference. So that's number one. Things we're going to talk about today is that my schedule finally matched with the plan that I had in Benji. We're going to talk about how CO₂ is killing you. We're going to talk about protein ice cream. We're going to talk about a new app that I made and Stanley cups and a bunch of other things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I suck at selling. Honestly, it should have been called tangents on tangents on tangents because this is what I'm planning to talk about, but we have no freaking idea in which direction I'm going to take you. I'll be like the worst Google Maps ever. You'll be like, okay, it takes 39 minutes to get there. And suddenly 2.5 hours later, you're like, what the fuck? What are we doing in Canada if I was Google Maps, right? So I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It's just a plan. And as you know so far, I don't stick to plans very good. So what else? Send me video or comment questions. I'm going to answer, I think, 2 questions from you today. And conferences I'm going to is I'm going to go to Next.js Congress or Congress Next.js. It's a horrible name. It's in Warsaw, February 2nd. If you're there, ping me in the comments somewhere. I'd love to meet. I will meet anyone who is there. At the conference. I'm going with my wife and daughter, and it's going to be fun. And actually, I don't know, I'm planning to have all of this time because usually at conferences, people are like, hey, man, I'm also coming at the conference, and we're going to hang out and meet with a bunch of people who I know from the internet. But the reality this time might be I don't know what it's going to be like with my daughter there, and we might need to leave early or whatever. So it's going to be fun. It's happening soon. We're totally unprepared. We don't have any equipment needed to travel with a baby, but hopefully it's going to be fine. I keep this lightning cable that you see right now because I'm using this trackpad and keyboard combo. People who are listening to the podcast version cannot see it, but if you're listening to the video version, subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to the podcast version, subscribe to the video, or do whatever the hell you want because I'm not your mom. So all of the time I'm running out of battery, and I keep this cable. I bought a little very strong magnetic hooks that you can just attach to any metal, and they're very sturdy. So I put one on the back of my monitor. So now when I need to, have a cable, I'm trying to, find it at the back of the monitor, and I just have the cable hanging right there. Totally irrelevant to what I'm going to talk about today. So let's do a quick review of how's it going with my stats. So I'm going to go here, screen share. We're going to open Benji. I'm going to show you. I'm telling you every detail of my life. I'm not hiding shit. As you can see here, I haven't talked to my parents-in-law in 30 days. I'm hoping, when my wife is talking to them, I'm like, hi guys, how are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. But I haven't called them me personally, and I feel like a piece of shit about it. And I'm going to tell you that because we're being open on this podcast. I'm not fabricating, I'm not hiding from you, I'm keeping it real. For example, my weight today is 96.3, the same weight as yesterday, but I have hopes it's going to go down tomorrow. I don't want to micro-obsess over my weight every day. I still track it every day, but I don't want to get super obsessed every day. I don't have sleep scores and sleep times showing here in Benji, but I went to bed at a decent time. I was walking very late yesterday. After the podcast, I've been walking, and I actually did something. So I wanted to, I got tired of moving this treadmill back and forth. So I just wanted to have the treadmill at a treadmill. Hey, guy from the comment. Okay, it's called treadmill. I wanted to move the treadmill. So I moved it to the left side of the table just so I have it fixed at all times. So I don't have to switch, fold it. It's very hard to fold and actually shove it into the container thing. So I just decided I have to have the treadmill somewhere on the side. So now it's on the side. However, I didn't have anything to put the tray on. So the table was too far. So I had to be with my hands like this, like a zombie. So yesterday night I was like, come on, man. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, what are you going to do? You're not going to code. You're not going to do anything. You're tired. So I just watched Disney Plus and I watched Scrubs. Now, shows, movies, and everything goes to the end of the podcast, but Scrubs is that good if you can tolerate watching 480p. How do you call it? 480p quality. The worst quality of video, which is letterbox, like it's old school TV for a couple of seasons, and then they make it HD. I think in the last 2 or 3 seasons. but it's one of the best comedies and it's one of the best shows. Every episode you start with laughing, you laugh, you laugh, you laugh, and then they start with the sad songs, and it's about a hospital and some shit happens, and inevitably every third episode you cry. Scrubs is amazing, and I've been dragging this last season for way too long because I don't want it to end. So yesterday I was watching Scrubs, and I was wondering today, how am I going to actually work on this treadmill? So I have a solution, but we'll get there. So I went to sleep kind of on time. It wasn't on time. On time would be like if I go to sleep at 10 p.m., but I went to sleep, I don't know, around midnight. And I tried to turn off my alarm. I told you that I put an alarm on this like baby thingy. It's called Hatch Baby. It's called Hatch Sleep. It's like a white noise machine with alarm and a bunch of things. We're not using it at all. We thought we are going to use all of these gadgets for the baby, but reality is you don't use most of the things. So I'm going to show it here to the camera. I set this alarm, as you can see here, because the camera definitely focused. There you go. My schedule 7 a.m. to whatever it says time to rise on weekdays. And I wanted to turn it off. So at night, like everything is silent, and we're using the snoo bed. And my daughter is so funny. Like usually, you know, the movie scenes where you walk into the bedroom and you kiss the kid. Before you go to sleep, you kiss the baby and you're like, good night, sweetie. Daddy loves you more than anything in the world. Dude, when I enter that bedroom, it's like there are a bunch of landmines around and I'm playing Minesweeper. Like I'm not even daring to look at her direction. She's using this bed, it's called the snoo, which is like, you geeks are going to love it. Like I think just saying this out loud will make some geek out here in this podcast want to have a kid right now. Your wife will be happy, will be like, what the fuck happened? I thought you said you don't want. You're like, shut up, we're doing it right now. I heard about this bed. So this bassinet, whatever you call it, you use it up to 6 months. So it is very expensive, but I would pay triple the amount of money for the job that it does. Now, there are babies who sleep like you can put them anywhere and they would just sleep anywhere. And there are babies who are a little bit more fussy and they would need help sleeping. So parents usually, like you still need to, you know, put her in your hands and rock her to bed and whatever. But if she wakes up, like if you do that all the time, you would be exhausted if you just take her in your arms and rock her. So they invented this bed, which detects crying. I know. Weird, right? But it freaking works. It detects crying, and every time the baby cries, it just increases the level of rocking. So the motion, I'm showing it on camera, the motion looks something like this. So she's rocking back and forth. So she's rocking on level 1 all night, and if she cries, depends on how intense is the crying. Of course, you don't let her more than, 20, 30 seconds, or even 15 sometimes. Like if she cries for a while, like the bed will just intensify for a second, and she just goes like, boop, she goes back to sleep, and it's freaking magical. 100% recommendation if you're a parent or a future parent who's expecting right now. 100% get this new. You're not going to regret it. So yeah, I'm. What was I saying? I'm walking in at night and I see my baby just rocking in her crib, and I'm trying not to step on the mines, and I'm slowly, I have my phone in me, and I'm like, I'm going to turn off the alarm because it's not happening. It's way too late. Like today, I'm recording. It's 10:44 p.m. I'm not going to have an alarm at 7 p.m. There's no way. I'll be too exhausted. So I go to turn off this stupid freaking alarm in the app. And this is the only alarm app in the world, which is not even an alarm app, which it previews the alarm. Like when you go to the clock app on iOS and you have an alarm and you click on the alarm, like it immediately goes to editing the alarm, right? Like it should. But this stupid thing, when you click on the alarm, I wanted to turn it off, it started playing it. So my wife gives me a look. Or maybe I imagined the look. She was sleeping. Maybe she just turned a little bit. But I just, like, internally, from within her sleep, she gives me a look. The baby, from her rocking position, she just stands up. Oh, you think 4 months babies cannot stand up? She stood up on her legs, just, rested her arm like this. And she was like, what's up with you? She was like, Dad, what the hell is wrong with you? Why do you play the alarm in the middle of the night? So I felt weird, and the alarm stopped, but thankfully she didn't wake up. And now I have no alarm. So as soon as I thought, this is the one day I'm going to have an alarm and it's going to be back, I don't have it. What else? Going back to the screen sharing. So sleeping, I slept fine. I woke up at 7:20 without the alarm, and I felt mostly fine. Fasting, I'm annoyed talking about the fasting right now. You know that your boy's a pro. I'm doing the fasting, and I started a new one. It's all good. Workout, I forgot to do my strength training yesterday. I was too tired, and today I forgot to compensate for it because I'm a moron. So today I only walked. I walked 10K steps in the morning, but I have around 14,000 steps at the end of the day. So that's nice. We're going to look at meals. Meals, as you can see, I'm not going to go through them, like pasta, banana, leftovers, strawberry, banana shake, eggs, salmon, like all the healthy things. 100% food score. And I didn't have a lot of food, except pasta. I think I'm going to ban pasta for my meals because pasta, like however you pronounce that. This podcast should be called Kitze Doesn't Know How to Pronounce Basic Words in English. Hey, how about you try to pronounce Macedonian, fuckers? So anytime I eat pasta, I feel bad afterwards. Not bad, I feel bloated and I don't feel good. And it's the only meal that makes me feel full. And I cannot stop. Like nothing is enough. Like my wife left the entire pot of pasta with seafood and veggies. And she was like, take as much as you want. And your boy took as much as he wants. And your boy took as much as his wife didn't want him to. And then she ate her portion and she's like, oh, this is enough for me. You can finish it. And he finished it. So I hate pasta, and I think I'm going to do this challenge to 85 kilos without pasta. So from tomorrow on, I'm just banning, even though we try to eat whole grain, the brownish pasta, which is like healthier, I'm just banning it because it doesn't make me feel good. So we're done with the fasting. Now we're going to look at, Pomodoros. Again, I don't have the habit, but this is more or less correct. Like I worked 4 hours and 23 minutes today. I think I worked more. Like it makes sense that I worked more during this day. Maybe I missed a couple of Pomodoros. Let's just say that I missed a couple of Pomodoros today, okay? Because I worked more. Winky face to the camera. So the good thing is I'm improving here because I'm standing more. I don't know how, but as you can see, it's 13% walk, 38% stand, 50% sit. And most of the time I was focused because I have the blockers now and I cannot fuck around and I cannot open Twitter, YouTube, and whatever. Now we're going to look at the habits. I think I'm pretty much in the green. I hope that I'm pretty much in the green. Ugh. There's no green in Benji, so I'm pretty much in the red / purple. So in the morning, I'm fucking up because it's too cold. I cannot go out and get sunlight, so I'm not walking with my dog. Planking is just not a habit that I have. The good thing is I was hanging on a bar today, and my record was I can hang on a bar for 13 seconds. I know it's pathetic. I even stopped a stop. I started a stopwatch. Like I'm like, I don't want to overdo this. It's probably going to be like 3 minutes. 13 seconds and your grip falls apart. So it's very hard. The biggest problem is the grip. I like the, thingy that it did to my shoulders, like all the, the pulling down and everything. So I'm going to keep doing it. Hopefully. Bottle of water. I'm absolutely killing this thing. I'm absolutely killing this cup. Someone on Twitter just said something to me. Just say it. You have a Stanley cup. And I'm like, what the fuck is a Stanley cup? And I have to Google it. And 6 days ago, there's this like massive trend of people and mostly women in the USA buying these cups. And I'm using a pink one. So this is from Temu, whatever is the Chinese website is called. So it's not a Stanley cup. But these things are way too popular. And I guess the world is getting hydrated. So it happened 6 days ago. I started this podcast 6 days ago. I had the bottle 6 days ago. Did I start a worldwide trend? You do the math, right? I'll leave that to you. So I've been killing it with the water and everything else. Let's move on to the rest of the habits. I didn't do 4 hours of coding. I was too exhausted to eat lunch mindfully, because today I was actually recording the course for 3 hours. And that drains the motherfucker out of you, especially when you record a video and the video is like 7 or 12 minutes and you don't like how it came out. And I don't do editing. Like I either like the entire video or I just re-record it. And man, is it draining to just talk about the same topic over and over and over again. So after I finished with that and I did a bunch of things and I did a couple of emails today, like when I saw that pot of pasta and everything, like all I wanted to do was watch Scrubs. So I turned on Scrubs on the TV and I'm like, fuck eating mindfully. I just can't. And I couldn't do it. And sometimes I'm not going to blame myself. Fasting is fine. No green tea, no inbox zero, no dinner because I didn't eat dinner. I didn't eat anything today. Night routine, as always, I just skipped the entire bloody thing. I'm not even paying attention. Protein, I'm waiting for my freaking 2 packets of protein to arrive. The big boxes, they were like, we don't have your flavor. Do you want to wait? And like an idiot, I wanted to wait. Because mixing strawberries, bananas with cookies and cream protein is like, it tastes not that good. So anyway, no protein, no muscle. I'm afraid that with this weight loss, I'm going to lose a lot of muscle because I don't manage my macros enough. So I don't care that much about, I'm trying to get as much protein in the day. But I think I'm going to fuck it up and I'm going to look too skinny. So I'm setting the goal to 85, but I think I'm going to reevaluate it. When I get to 90 kilos, I'm going to look at myself. And I don't want to look too skinny because I see old pictures of myself. Jesus Christ, on some of them I look sick. Like it looks horrible. So I'm going to reevaluate. I'm not going to bail on the goal. But if I easily reach 90, I would easily reach 85. So I'm going to reevaluate. Everything else, as you can see, no sweets, no coffee, no alcohol, no soda, no juice, no bread, no fast food, 10,000 steps, even 4,000 steps, sauna, shower, 1 hour walk. So I did most of the things of the habits today. And now let's look at the schedule. So the schedule, I showed it to you yesterday, I think, and the plan, but didn't turn out true. But it was like, I felt like I'm mostly sticking to it, which I know if I keep doing this, keep recording this podcast and keep, iterating on it, I think it's going to be good. So I woke up late, so my morning routine was a little bit late. I didn't go out with my dog. And if you're asking, why is this gap? Like, what did you do from 8 to 8:30 a.m.? I was doing a DIY project. So I cannot show it to you right now. Maybe I have a picture of it. I think my phone is completely blocked. After 9 p.m., yeah, I cannot even go in my gallery. So after 9 p.m., my phone becomes a dumb phone and I cannot literally use anything. I'm using this app called App Block. So I'm not using Apple's downtime. I mean, I'm using Apple's downtime in combination with App Block because I'm weird. So App Block, what it can do is like you can define all of these schedules. Like as you can see here, I'm trying to show it to the camera as much as I can. Like stupid websites, no social till 11 a.m., Telegram limit, Safari block, time limit, and downtime. I have all of these blocks. And then you have this thing called strict mode. And in strict mode, I'm setting it every week just in case I want to, goddamn it, focus. Just in case I want to reevaluate, some rules. In strict mode, you cannot change any rules. So there's like usually with downtime, I can ask my wife and I can be like, hey, can you give me 15 minutes of whatever? And she would type the code. But there's no code to give to anyone. So basically, you just lock yourself out of your phone. And God forbid I need Safari right now, for anything. Like my dog is choking and I need to search something. Oopsie daisy, you can't. So that's weird, but I have to block my phone. Like after 9 p.m. and in the morning, like I don't want my phone to be anything except, someone can call me. Speaking of, someone did call me around 9 something a.m. Hey, stop calling. Hey, humanity, stop it. That's it. We have texting now. Don't freaking call me, especially when it's a number like 808-172-34. Yeah, I remember the exact number. But stop it, you. Just text me. Be like, whatever you want. I'm not going to answer. If it's not one of my contacts and it's not an emergency, I'm not going to answer. So you probably agree with me. When someone calls, it's usually panic mode, right? My dad called me like a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and his voice was a tiny bit different. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was a little bit cold. Maybe he was sick. Maybe he was whatever. And he was like, just, I answered the phone and I'm like, hey. And from his side, he's like, hey. And I'm like, Grandma died. My first thought, dude. Who thinks like this? Well, Grandma died. Actually, I answered from my watch, which was even weirder. And because Grandma had this heart condition a couple of years ago. And since, it was pretty serious. And since then, she's been fine. But, once it gets in your head that something might happen, it's a shitty feeling. So, I get the call on my watch, and I couldn't hear it properly. And he was like, hey, with a very sad voice, And I'm like, wait, I'll find my phone. And until I found my phone, my heart went to 190, dude. It was so freaking panicky. So don't call me unless it's an emergency, people, except my family. You can call me, but have a happier voice. So next time I told this to my dad, and next time he calls me, he's like, hi, hi, sorry, nothing has happened. So now he has to prefix every call with that. So what the frickety frick was I talking about? Schedule. Yeah, so let's go back to the screen sharing. So from 8 to 8:30, what I did is I wanted to actually code, and I put the treadmill on the left side of the desk, and I couldn't reach the thingy. So I was doing a little DIY project. So the DIY project was I was figuring out what can I put this on. So I found a lid for basket, whatever you call it. I cannot think of some English words at this point of the day. It's like 11, so give me a break. So I found a flat plastic thingy, and I drilled 3 times pairs of 2 holes just so a zip tie can go around them. And basically, I tied this very strongly to the treadmill. And now it's this sturdy surface where anytime I want to work, now I can put this keyboard and trackpad tray on it. And I just swivel my monitor to the side. And now there's no friction. I'm so freaking happy now that I also put my shoes here. I put everything here because previously it was my shoes are in another room. The treadmill is collapsed. Shut the stupid Siri. So there's too many friction points until I get to the walking. Now everything is ready. My shoes are here. I wake up in the morning, put on the shoes, swivel the monitor, start coding, and that's it. So now it's way, way easier. So it took me 30 minutes, trial and error, until I mounted this thing, and it worked fine. So from 8:30 to 9:45, I was coding. I made this little app called YouTube Companion. So I'm starting a new mini app for myself because YouTube is blocked on this computer, meaning I cannot upload YouTube videos, meaning you guys are going to hate me. You're going to be like, where's the podcast? So I had to make a little app, which is if you're a geek, if you're a developer, basically, not a geek. It's a little Electron app, which is basically a web view that displays the YouTube studio, but it hides all the ways that you can go to your channel and watch YouTube. So there's no URL bar. I cannot go to watch YouTube, but I can still, I have it open here. I can still see the studio, and I'm refreshing for comments, and I love these people. Someone just said right now, hey, fatty, great content. And immediately I get pissed. I'm like, who are you calling? I'm like, oh, yeah, I said it in episode 3 that I don't want compliments until I reach my desired weight. So your comments are literally making my day. I love that you're watching this, and I love the comments with the donut. The comments with the donut mean something, so you cannot leave a comment with a donut right now. what was I saying? I made this little app while I was walking on the treadmill. At the exact time I was planning to, 9:45, as you can see here on the screen, 9:45, I went to the sauna. I spent 15 minutes in the sauna. I was actually reading the Hail Mary book. It's freaking amazing. I can't wait to finish that thing. And then I did the shower for 15 minutes. And then, as you can see here, things broke up a little bit. Like I was planning to do. Sometimes you cannot stick to this schedule like too strictly, especially now with a kid. Because, for example, I went upstairs and my wife needed a couple of things from me. I saw a couple of things that I didn't like in the living room. I cannot just go in the living room and be like, a robot came here to have breakfast. And just, just act like that. Like when there's things to be done, I want to do those things. And it was too cold today. It was -10 in my city. So I had to light up the fireplace. I had to clean it up a little bit. I had to, do the kindling and whatever it's called and fire it up. And I had to go back and check it after 15 minutes if everything is fine. So the day got messed a little bit. I had breakfast. I got dressed at 11 exactly. I actually checked Twitter, Slack, Discord, a bunch of these things. And at 11:15 to 2:15, as planned here, I was working on the course. So that drained the shit out of me. Even though it's only 3 hours and you might be like, oh, bro, you don't know what's a real job. I wake up at 4 a.m. and I go on a building and I build buildings. Fine. This is just mentally draining to work on a course, as I said. Then the upload was ready. So I was working on something regarding the podcast, like transcripts or whatever. I can't wait for my assistant to start. Tomorrow we have a kickoff call with MJ. Today I got a message from someone called Twinkle. So someone is like, hey, it's Twinkle here. Tomorrow MJ call. And I'm like, hey, I stopped reading after Twinkle because, finish it, right? I'm pointing to you. Twinkle little star, right? You think that I didn't write that draft? You think that in my brain, when your brain gives you these intrusive thoughts and I'm like, send it, don't be a bitch, just send the thing to Twinkle. Be like, hey, Twinkle, and in parentheses, Twinkle little star. How I wonder if this email finds you well. So I got the email from Twinkle. Tomorrow MG is starting. We're going to have a kickoff call. So all of these things that you see on my calendar, like podcasting is and whatever, I'm not going to deal with them because I want to finish recording this. It goes immediately in iCloud and then MJ and Twinkle. That's hilarious, dude, being called Twinkle. Like their parents fucked them up so much. So MJ is going to take over that. And then here I have work, but I don't know what exactly I did. It was something with the podcast and with a couple of customer emails, I think. It was something I was trying to fix. Like I did a bunch of things here. I have no idea why. Then I had lunch and then I wanted to spend some time with my daughter, but she was sleeping. So instead I was spending time with my wife and my daughter was sleeping and we were just hanging out while my daughter was sleeping. It was weird. Then I started doing tasks and finally I'm back on the task train. So it felt like I cleared my inbox. So as you can see, this number is 14 here. It's not 33 as it was before. So I finally cleared my inbox and I classified the tasks. So my method for doing tasks is basically I just tell my reminders all the time. I'll be like something like this. Remind me to clean up the chimney tomorrow at 9 a.m. And once this Siri idiot figures it out, it confirms. So I have a script. I have a shortcuts automation like 4 times per day that takes all of my reminders from Apple reminders and it puts them in the inbox of Benji. But I haven't cleaned it up for a while and it piled up. So today I sat down, I cleaned up the inbox and I finally prioritized what should I do today. And I did. Actually, this is not correct. I was supposed to do family time at 6:30, but I did 2 hours of tasks because, dude, you cannot estimate these things. There's so many things to be done, especially when you've been slacking off. I had to shovel snow. Welcome to having a house. I had to throw out a bunch of trash because there's a trash schedule. Did you know that? You spoiled people living in an apartment. There's like a magical fairy person just picking up your trash, right? You go downstairs to the thingy, you throw your trash, and someone just takes it every day and you don't think about it. Well, now I had to buy 2 giant trash cans, one for plastic and one for paper. And we had one for food, basically for food items and leftover stuff. And one is just for the rest of the trash. But the company, they screwed up something. There was a new owner with the trash company. So for 1 week, they didn't come. And immediately, like, you don't have that much space to throw your trash. So the yard started piling up. So I had to clean that up and clean the snow and do a bunch of things. So suddenly I find myself and it's like 7 p.m. So unfortunately, I spent only around 30 minutes in the evening with my daughter. And then I had to start preparing. Throughout the day as I was going upstairs, I was, of course, spending time with her. But I'm sad that I didn't get my hour and a half that I planned today. I got only 30 minutes at the end. And then I started doing this evening routine, which if you're wondering, like, what the hell happened here, I picked up tasks, but tasks that weren't even on my task list. So I started doing with one thing, like I vacuumed the bedroom and I was helping cleaning some stuff up, and I refilled the diapers, and I changed the bed sheets, and you start doing stuff, and when you're in that mode, you're like, okay, let me also do this, and let me also do this, and I did a bunch of chores that I didn't want my wife doing this late at night because, she's doing a lot, and sometimes I want to give her a break, even though I'm exhausted, and I've been working since the morning, but she's also exhausted. I want to give her a break, so I help with a bunch of things. Next thing you know, it's freaking 10 p.m., and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what happened here? So I'm happy that more or less, the day aligned with my schedule. Tomorrow I'm going to try, and I'm going to try, and I'm going to try until I figure out this freaking thing. So what else? I think we went through everything in Benji, so I can stop screen sharing. I told you a bunch about my day here. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about today? I have 1.5 hours is not enough for task, and this is with no distractions. So my point here is I cannot imagine, like, no one interrupted me today. Like my wife was breastfeeding and the dog was doing its own thing. So I could have 1.5 hour just focus for doing tasks, and it was still hard, and I still didn't finish them. So I don't know what it's going to be like when the baby's going to grow up, and she's going to be around, and she's going to want things, and she's going to play with the dog, and things going to get crazy. And then you also have to do these things. Like, you have to shovel the snow. You have to do the things. You have to open a letter, and, oh, it's from the tax company, and maybe you should do your taxes instead of waiting for MJ and Twinkle. But it's too much, man. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. So for now, I'm not sure. I don't want to bump it to 2 hours of tasks because it's like too freaking much. Maybe I should start doing more on the weekends, because on the weekends I wasn't doing anything for a lot of weekends in a row. Probably for a month I haven't done anything on the weekend. So just trash has been piling up, like a bunch of boxes and boxes. Just throw everything in the garage. Usually I would break them down and put them nicely outside. So maybe I'm just dealing with my backlog of tasks, and 1.5 hours should be fine. I want to talk about a point, like, I don't find it a surprise anymore. When I see all of my red habits here, let's just go back to the screen one more time. When I go back into the habits and I see a bunch of reds, like, I have to drill it in my head, and you have to drill it in your head that unless it gets planned and put on the planner, it's not going to get done, period. Now, if I open my planner, I'm going to press Alt-C here. Control-C, Alt-C, I'm trying, here. Do you see anywhere something called night routine? Yes, you do, actually. Beats my point, but I didn't, like I was doing something else, god damn it. So sometimes even when you plan it, there's a chance you're going to skip it, but when you don't plan it, there's no way that something will happen. So if I'm like, oh, why didn't I do stretching and morning journal and plank today and sunlight? Because I didn't plan it. It wasn't part of a routine, and that routine wasn't put on the calendar. So I know the 100% way to actually do your habits is, first of all, to group them into routines. So to try to have like a morning routine when you do a batch of things, afternoon routine, batch of things, night routine, batch of things, and then to put them on the planner, and then to actually respect that, to do the routine step by step, which Benji has that feature. I honestly haven't been using it much, even though in the beginning I was super reliant on it. Like, you click play on a routine, and then you do thing by thing by thing by thing, and sometimes I'll convince myself, I'm like, I know what I'm doing, I don't need a routine, and then I'll forget most of the things. So I gotta get there. Otherwise, I shouldn't be surprised that something doesn't get done. Like, when I read through all of my tasks today, I have like 100 and something, and I'm like, well, it's no wonder like smart home things aren't being done. Like, we leave so many lights around because something with the Zigbee technology not connecting, or Home Assistant, and I'm like, I'm not surprised, because I haven't scheduled a block of my day called working on smart home. And until I do that, I shouldn't be surprised, like, and yell at the clouds, like, why isn't this getting done? So it is what it is, my guy. Next up, what sucks about eating veggies? I just have random thoughts that I was thinking about today. What sucks about eating veggies and fruits compared to eating like chips and a bunch of other shit? Have you ever opened a packet of chips and the first chip is different than the 7th and is different than the 13th? Or when you open Pringles, all of them taste heavenly. I'm waiting for your answer. All of them taste heavenly, right? Any fast food, any junk food that you have at home is going to taste equal forever. But have you tried looking sideways for 3 seconds after you put blueberries in the fridge? Have you ever bought a packet of blueberries, you put them there, you look at them, you're like, I see you, fucker. You're fresh, you're ripe, don't you dare. And then your wife calls you or whatever. You're like, what? I'm recording. And you look back at the blueberries. That's it. That's it. They have mold. Like, there's a family of mice living in the packet, and you need to throw out those fuckers. That's point number 1. Point number 2 is sometimes you can have perfectly non-moldy pack of grapes, let's call it. You open the freaking package, start eating. First grape is fine. Second grape is fine. Third one, it looks fine. It tastes like death. Have you ever had like, I don't know, like a peanut or an almond or a grape or whatever, and when you taste it, you suddenly feel like, oh, this is what it's like to die. So it's a freaking gamble. They get moldy, they get spoiled. You buy some cucumbers, you press it, you can shove your hand through it because it suddenly got soft. Like, they're a gamble. And also, do you know what's around the Pringle? Like when you open a pack of Pringles, right? And you take one. Now I'm gonna, like, it's supposed to be a podcast about health, and I'm gonna make you crave Pringles, but don't. They're bad for you, and you're gonna die. So when you take one Pringle, do you know what's around it? What prevents you from eating that Pringle? Nothing. You put it in your mouth. There's air around it. But around an avocado, dude, or around a freaking orange, or around, like, God forbid, pineapple, it has spikes. It's like God telling you, you shouldn't eat this. Wait for multi-thousand years until we make Pringles. Literally. Like, they're protected, they're mushy, they're mold. You got to take a cutting board, a knife, like, it's annoying. And I get it why most people don't eat healthy. Like, I'm pretty sure that if in every fridge in the world, like, there was magically a fruit salad or a nice oatmeal bowl or whatever, anytime you open it, there won't be fat people ever. But when you open the fridge and you see all these fuckers, moldy, old, protected in their fucking shells, like, it's too far from becoming a meal. I look at these 2 oranges and banana, I'm like, nah, you're not a meal, and I just go for the first thing. So fuck veggies, fuck fruits, for real. I'm trying to eat healthy, but goddamn it, isn't annoying. We have a couple more things here. Dentist appointment tomorrow, finally. Like, for fuck's sake, man. When I turned 30 years old, this tooth that I'm too self-conscious to show, and that's why I've been smiling less and whatever, and now you're gonna look at me there. So I had it for 6 months. I had this, what is it called? Like a prosthetic tooth or whatever. It's like a fake ass thing, which won't stay there forever because they're doing a procedure. 6 freaking months. And it was so hard to eat with it. So basically, I broke my tooth because that's what happens. When you turn 30, your back starts hurting, and you need to break at least 2 teeth. So I broke one, and they were like, well, we got to do an implant or whatever, but it's going to take 6 months, and then 6 more for this and 6 more for that. So I've been staying with this shit for a year. And I called them like a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, hey, can we finalize this procedure? And they're like, no, the implant, it has to heal the place, whatever. So finally tomorrow is the day where, man, if I go and they're like, oh, but this is the pre-procedure of the pre-procedure. It's going to be like 700 euros because your boy is the only idiot from the Balkan region who is actually not going to the Balkan to fix his teeth. Every person, dude, if Elon Musk was from the freaking, I don't know, Serbia or Macedonia or whatever, he would fly back to fix his teeth, even though he has billions, because every Balkan person does it. I never do it because when I go to Macedonia, like, I have counted days and I don't want to go and waste all of them at a dentist, especially with complex procedures. And I'm overpaying, like, it's not even close in how much it costs here, but fuck it. I'm going to fix it tomorrow. And if they say this is not the last procedure, I'm going to take out all of my teeth. Like, tomorrow I'm going to comment the podcast and be like, I don't know how people without teeth talk, but, fuck it. I'm tired. Finally, tomorrow. So, final couple of things. CO₂ is killing you. So I got this CO₂ monitor because everyone in the freaking tech industry every tech bro now has a CO₂ monitor because Theo started it. I think he started a thing that someone messaged him that they started feeling drowsy, and they started feeling a little bit, like they're sick or something is wrong with them, and they've been visiting doctors and a bunch of, and no one could figure out why is this person so tired, what's wrong with them. Turned out they had a lot of CO₂ buildup at the place they were working at. There was not a lot of fresh air, and I didn't know that CO₂ can have that horrible effect on you. So Theo fucking tweeted this, and now everyone in the tech industry had a CO₂ monitor, and I'm actually glad because when he tweeted that, I'm like, I work in this basement and I rarely open the window. I might open it, honestly, if we're honest, I open it every couple of days. Dude, now I have this thing and it's poking my eyes. There it is, that sly little fucking shit just telling me, and it's in German, oh dude, which makes it even worse. When someone tells you something nice in Spanish, like embarazada, something, right? It sounds sweet, it sounds cute. When in German it says Schmetterling, like, I'm like, fine, I'll open a window. Jesus fucking Christ. So right now it says 700. It should be around 400, 500. But when it gets about 1,000, like, it's very bad. And when it gets about like 2,000, it's like, run for your life. But I thought this is overkill and I don't need this because I'm going to ventilate once per day, right? And it's going to be fine if you ventilate once per day. Turns out, and everyone is commenting this on Twitter, it's like, oh, why would you need this? Just open the window a couple of times per day. Even I started opening probably 7 times per day, and you don't know when this thing randomly spikes. So most people won't even ventilate once per day, let alone 2 times or 3 times. But if you see this constantly, you realize how much fresh air are you missing. And I didn't know that CO2 buildup can actually, interfere with your cognitive abilities and how you think. And maybe you're thinking slow and you're tired and you're like, oh, I don't want to do the course today. Let me just go and watch YouTube. So I think it was around, 50, 60 euros for this thing. And I want to get it for all rooms. But right now I'm trying to reform my technology-obsessed brain. I'm trying to reform some budget to not just throw money around on gadget things because I'm spending too much. So fuck it. In the other rooms, let the CO2 build up. But here, I have it for now. And I would recommend you to get it, especially if you work in a home office and you don't ventilate enough. This is going to kick you into the habit. So I think I mentioned the Stanley Cup's craziness because I created it. Just Google Stanley Cup and just be amazed that people are going crazy over these things. I added a new one from Timo. I'm not going to give Stanley Cup money because it's the same freaking thing. Final thing is the Ninja Creamy from the list before we go to the content. I ordered an ice cream maker because the tech bros are moving to ice cream makers. So CO2 is over, and now my first meal in the podcast has mentioned the Ninja Creamy. I wanted the Ninja Creamy for so freaking long, but it wasn't available in Europe. Lo and behold, I go to Amazon, the German version. First, it yells at me in German. It's like, ice cream bad, whatever. And I'm like, ice cream good if you make it with protein and a bunch of other things. So I said no sweets, but that doesn't mean if you make your own ice cream. No sugar, no nothing. Just strawberries, bananas, you throw out a scoop of protein, maybe some Greek yogurt. And there's this thing called xanthan gum or whatever. You put a little bit of it. It's like a powder and it turns it more to look like ice cream. And this magical machine called Ninja Creamy like turns it into real ice cream. Like you need to run it twice, put it in the freezer, whatever. And I can't wait to try it. So it's coming soon. I'm going to give you a review if it works or not. Final thing is I watched an old vlog and I miss vlogging. So hopefully, like I got so sensitive, man. I almost cried. Like seeing all of these people. Before COVID, like COVID fucked up everything, dude. I hung out with so many people. Almost every month, I would go to 1 to 2 conferences. I see all my old friends, like all of the people we went skiing with, we went places with. And since COVID, like everything has went downhill, like skiing, but without the skiing. And I fucking miss vlogging. I miss hanging out with people. So I'm going to start applying to conferences. I want to touch more about this topic in the next podcast about applying to conferences and such. So hopefully in this conference that I'm doing in February, I'm going to actually record a vlog if it's possible to juggle the baby and everything and also vlog. It's going to be fun. So let's finish up with content. So I made progress on Hail Mary, the book. I learned that they're making a movie with Ryan Gosling. And I learned how the fuck do you find these things? Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Like Christopher Miller sounded familiar to me. I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere, the director. But they're like a duo who made a couple of good movies. And now they're making the Hail Mary movie. So they made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 and 22 Jump Street, Lego movie, and the 2 Spider-Verse movies. Like, just that combination of things is so insane to me that you can be so good. And now they're making Hail Mary. I hope they're not going to fuck it up. Ryan Gosling is great. So I'm happy about that. Show, I already mentioned Scrubs. Definitely go watch Scrubs. I forgot to mention, we're on the last episode of, how do you pronounce this? Wonderful. I think it's Wonderful Miss Maisel. And it's on Amazon Prime, and it's one of the best comedies. Not even comedies. It's one of the best shows ever. I think it got nominated for a bunch of Emmys, and it's definitely in the list of top 100 shows. I definitely recommend it to you. It's hilarious. It's so good. We're in the last episode, so don't freaking spoil it. Did I mention that? We're in the last episode on What If. I'm on so many last episodes. So game, I've been using the Steam Deck, so only toilet gaming, no time for other gaming. I'm finishing Limbo, and the last few puzzles are killing me. I love these puzzle games when I beat the puzzle, but when I don't beat the puzzle, I feel dumb. And a couple of more levels, and I'm going to finish Limbo. I started playing Doom from 2016. I have no idea how people aim with a controller. Like, I'm getting used to it, but if you have keyboard, like God on the 8th day when he made Earth, then he took a little bit of rest on the 7th day, right? And on the 8th day, he made the keyboard and mouse, right? For first-person shooters. But some people, they even sit on their desk, and they take a controller, and they have a 27-inch monitor, and they basically shoot Call of Duty or whatever it is. And I don't freaking get it. I'm trying to play Doom. I'm getting eaten by all of these zombies. I'm getting better at it. But I definitely like playing more on a freaking, keyboard and mouse. And I guess that's it. Don't forget to stream the Peanut album by Lil Dicky. I think it's coming out tomorrow or 19th. I don't know. I can't wait to hear this album. It's going to be comedy gold. I love this freaking guy. And I guess that's it, guys. We went through a lot of things. I had a better day than the rest of the days. Like, tomorrow I'm going to try to stick to the schedule. I'm going to sleep immediately. I'm finishing this, uploading the MP3. So the audio version of the podcast is going to go live at night, like at this time around, 11 p.m. in CET. I think Poland is a CET time zone. And then in the morning, while I'm on the treadmill, I'm going to edit the video, upload it to YouTube. It takes an hour, hour and a half. And in the mornings, it should be available on YouTube. I want to thank you so freaking much for watching. If you're not subscribed, you might not be subscribed because the algorithm is showing you these videos and you forgot to subscribe. Please subscribe, follow on Twitter, join our Discord. There's a bunch of links that I've left in the description. Leave a comment. I appreciate if you watch till the end. Put a donut somewhere in your comment. Ask me a question. I was supposed to answer questions, but I already got on a roll of, not of wrapping this up. So I'm going to move the questions to tomorrow. I have this Notion template here. In the Notion template, I'm going to add listener questions right now. So tomorrow I don't forget about it. And I guess that's it. Thank you so much. This is very nice for me. I just let out all of this steam and I go and sleep like a baby. Except I don't do the little nod that my daughter's doing. That's it. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Final question. Who is the singer of Chandelier? See ya in the next one.